A very good evening to all of you, and thank you very much for joining our session today. We have Dr. Navsheen Hussain, who's been in the field of counseling and special education for the last 10 plus years, and she has a master's in child and mental health from Kuempu University and a master's in counseling and family therapy from the IGNO and an MPhil in psychology. So we are very glad to have her today, and the topic what we are going to be talking about is handling social media addiction in children. So today we all know that electronic gadgets and internet is a part and parcel of our life, and especially with kids, it has become like a knife which we have given it to them, and we need to be very careful about how they use it. So today's session is focusing on that, and I'm sure not just the kids but also elderly people are addicted to this. So today's session, Dr. Navsheen will be covering the various aspects of it and the harmful effects and how we can actually withdraw these kind of a behavior or addiction from the children. This program is actually brought to you by Golden Breeze Foundation along with the United Medical Mission. These are organizations which are focused on youth empowerment and development along with the healthcare development in the society. So without further ado, I would invite Dr. Navsheen Hussain to take it further. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Mr. Azim. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here.
Find my chappals. Go find.
And as Mr. Azim said, I'm a child psychologist, and that means I work with children. Okay, so working with children means understanding them, understanding their behaviors, their issues, and helping them to resolve it. So when you're working with a child, you don't work with the child alone. Okay, you work with the child's parents or caregivers. So usually in the Indian society, we have extended family, we have grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins who are involved with the child, and also the teachers. Let's not forget them. So these are the people whom I work with, not just the children, but the parents and the teachers and their caregivers. Now, when we say that a child has a problem, usually the problem, or let's say the part of the problem, is with the adults surrounding the child. So the solution also to the problem lies mostly with the adults. Okay. So I would like to know how many parents we have here in this program. Can I have a show of hands? Okay, so we
There are
have
quite a few
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that all of you will agree with me that the problems that your children face are not just their problems, it also problems that are from the family, right? And so when you see a child having emotional issues or any kind of a behavior issues, we can trace it back to the adults who are dealing with them. And the solution also lies with these adults. Okay, so let's make that clear. It is not just the children's problem. Okay, now, some of the common problems faced by children are emotional issues, behavior issues, learning issues, and social issues. Yeah. So, in today's session, we are going to talk about social media addiction. Now, along with various issues, this has emerged to be one of the most common problems which parents are facing, cutting across all boundaries of geography, religious, socio-economic. It's not just that there are a few elite who have this problem, but we can see this problem almost everywhere. Every family is complaining. My child is spending too much of time on the phone. My child is spending too much of time on social media. Okay, so this is a problem which is emerging from everywhere and across age groups, which is very, very scary. It is not just the older children, even the younger children. They are glued to the phone. So this is a problem which is there. And one thing that we should understand is that these problems do not exist in a vacuum. They are a result of various factors: developmental, family, academic, and peer pressure. Okay, they see their friends doing it, they want to do it. They want to be a part of it. They don't want to be left out. So let's talk about social media. What is social media, which everyone is talking about? So social media is nothing but it is just a technology which allows the creation or sharing of information, ideas, interests, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. Okay, and there are different types of social media, which is we have social networking sites, we have image sharing and messaging sites, we have video sharing sites, social blogging sites. Okay, and can you tell me some other types of social media which you or your children are involved in? Can the participants, can someone unmute and tell me? See, let's make this interactive. Otherwise, if only I'm going to speak, it's going to get very boring.
Instagram, Snapchat,
Instagram,
things
yes.
like that.
Twitter and Facebook.
Yes. What else? Younger generation, are you there? Are you listening? Please pipe in.
YouTube.
YouTube, yes, definitely. So these are the some of the very common things which we are seeing, right? The examples of this. So every second person is using social media in this world. It's become very common. Okay. And it has because one is it has become the easiest medium of communication and it is growing faster day by day. There was a time when we would tell the parents, the computer that has the internet should be kept in the drawing room or dining room so that the parents can see what the children are doing, what sites they have access to. But today, especially during the pandemic, when everyone is on the laptop doing academic work, it is very difficult for the parents to keep control on what the child is doing. Is the child actually studying or on some other app, the child is playing a video game or whatever? It's become very difficult, and every parent needs now the internet so that the child can study and all that. So earlier we said, can you restrict? But now, how do we restrict this? Because this is required, right? And everything has advantages and disadvantages. So, okay, like Mr. Azim said about a knife. So let us think of even social media as a knife. It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. Now, we do not give the knife to a child, right? We know it is sharp, the child can cut himself or herself. But can we keep the knife away from the child? We cannot. We have to let the child learn how to use the knife. So now some of the advantages of social media are it helps in promoting, it helps in connectivity, it is a source of latest information, it is used for entertainment. What else? What else would you like me to say? What are the advantages? Yeah, anyone?
It helps people who don't have much self-confidence. Like it gives them a platform to say what they would like to say in a better way. Like people who are afraid of public speaking. So it's like an advantage like that.
Very good, right. It is an advantage like that. So it has an advantage. What else? What other advantage do you all see in this?
They allow children who are more introverted to connect to their peers more
Okay,
than they would in real life.
very good. Yes. Then what else?
They also get timely information, whenever they want, immediately they get it.
Yes, information has become very easy. It's
Easy,
easily
yes.
available.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It is easily available, and especially for anything on any matter, on any kind of a skill set, whether it is academics, whether it's non-academics, on anything, the information is readily available. So it has so many advantages. It's not just something which full of disadvantages. It has its advantages. Now let us look at the disadvantages. What do you all think are the disadvantages of this?
People spend too much time on it.
Okay. What else?
It interferes with their daily, their homework or the family time and with their sleep, exercise, everything basically.
Yes, it does interfere with the sleep and all that.
Beyond a certain point, I think it gets toxic and it promotes an unrealistic type of lifestyle.
Yes. And in the chat, I can see someone is saying too much of dependence and not safe. Someone is saying addiction. Yeah, what else?
Oversharing of personal information.
Yes, oversharing. Yes.
That is the whole approach.
Can you say once again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, Dr. Hamid, there was a lot of echo when you were saying. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, okay.
I think we can
So,
do that.
are you saying, sir?
Yeah, I said we can move on. We are not able to hear him.
Okay, okay. So some of the disadvantages are also because you do not know whom you're dealing with. So there's a lot of bullying also that is taking place in social media. The unknown, that unknown factor, which is works to an advantage to our introverts, also works to our disadvantage. Okay, because our children do not know why children, even we do not know whom we are dealing with. Okay, so this anonymity leads to people bullying, able to bully things and get away with it. Okay, so has anyone faced bullying through social media or any of this? So we have so many participants. Has anyone faced bullying, online bullying?
I haven't, but I know people who have. Like cyberbullying is really common, and people who show, like, try to use social media as a platform to show their art or show their talent, like singing or dancing. They get a lot of hate, and you can't track who that person is. Like they can say anything, and that's a really bad form of bullying because it's cyberbullying and it's hard to track it.
Yes, very true.
I think the worst part about it is that no one is held accountable. There is no accountability online because since it's anonymous, you can't really trace who it is.
Exactly, and that is what these bullies thrive on, that anonymity. Okay, so thank you so much for all that. And yes, this is what we need to keep our children safe from bullying, and we need to tell our children that they can come back to us, and they can report this. It's very, very important. The parents who are listening to this, I want you to know that your children have to trust you. They should be able to come back and tell you, see, this has happened. Now, what happens is we make rules. We tell them you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. But they are children. They may do it. And if they do it, they should, and if they get into a mess, they should be able to come back and report and say, you know what, mama, you know what, daddy, this has happened to me. This person has said this, or this person has sent me this photo, whatever. They should be able to report to us. And at that moment, we need to stand by them and seek what precautions we can take. How can we safeguard our children? How can we block those sites? And how can we report? Whom do we report? And this is very important. The child needs to feel safe and trust that that I can go and report to my seniors and they will help me. I can report to my parents. I can report to my teachers and they will help me. I know the first thing what we parents do, what we parents or teachers do, the way we go wrong is we tell them, okay, you must come back and report to us. But when they do, we get angry with them. So what happens when we get angry with them next time? They do not come back and report it. And it becomes one cycle and they are not able to come out. So it is very, very important that the adults in the picture understand that they are young children, youngsters. I'm talking, see, children means till 18 years, but just because they cross over 18 and they become 19 and 20, it does not mean that all of a sudden they're able to handle things by themselves. They can still face bullying. It does happen, especially children now who are going to go to college. They may face bullying, and everyone is into one social media, so they may also want to be a part of it. And this anonymity, okay, that is what gives power to the bullies. So please, anyone who's facing it, please report it to whoever your superiors or your parents, your teachers, and just come out of it. What bullies are scared of is being called out. Okay, so however, in whatever form, please do not get upset. And people love to, use something against you. Don't give them that. Please do not share your personal information and your personal photographs to people whom you do not know. please do not share things which can be used against you. So, I mean, how many ever times we keep saying it is not enough? Because people, by mistake, they do it and it lands up in the wrong hands. So please do not give any information which someone can use it against you. Okay? So that is one thing, bullying, which is quite a lot which we see happening in social media. Second is fake news. Okay? Please do not trust everything that is being said on the that is being said on the social media. Please confirm the news before you spread it. Just someone sends a forward and then that forward just goes on multiple times without even checking out, is it true? Okay, so that is also one thing which all of us should be able to. And then health issues. One of the main disadvantages of overuse of social media is health issues. These health issues can be seen in lack of sleep, either overeating or undereating. Okay, and spending so much of time on it that they do not take care of their own health. Yeah, any other disadvantages that you all want to add on to this?
I'd like to just mention one more thing. It's just a case study. I mean, it's something that happened to a very close friend of mine a few years ago, and it all has to do with bullying, but to a different level. We don't know who the bully is over here. So, my friend is very active on social media, especially Facebook. A lot of her personal photographs were put out over there. So, somebody has taken her face and put it on a pornography website, and we got to know about this much later through another person, and I don't know how he got to know about it, and he said, oh my god, what are you doing on this particular website? And this is something very scary, because just a simple photo of ours that we put on, say, Facebook or not Twitter, on any other social media, on Instagram or something like that, can be misused in so many ways.
Exactly.
So I know what you're saying is absolutely right. No matter how much we emphasize the importance of not putting our personal photographs, ours or our families, there's still a lot of us who do it. So this is a very sincere request to everyone, to not, to keep, not to share any of their personal information on these sites, because there are a lot of sick people that we do not know who can misuse it in so many different ways.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Noor. And I hope all the participants, have heard that, because this is something that is happening, especially with young students, college students, school students. And it's scary and it's very, very disgusting. But this is the kind of world that we are living in. So that is, I told you that the unknown, the anonymity, that is what gives them the path for them to do it. Maybe someone they know it, or if we know them, they will not do it. But here the anonymity is what gives them. So in my chat, I have someone saying that low self-esteem in children, violence, kids lose patience, they do not read books or play games outside, and impact on health, eyes in particular. Yes, spending all the time looking into the phone. And I'm sure they also have neck problems. They do not look up. It's just the phone. Have you seen not just the children, the youngsters, even some adults? They're so obsessed with seeing, okay, what is happening next, trolling. Then I have lack of exercise. People stop playing, reading, traveling. Yes, to all this. These are so many disadvantages to this. So, like I said, see, when we have a knife, I love that example that you gave, Mr. Azim. Yes, it is like a knife. See, a knife, why am I comparing social media to a knife? Because knife is a tool which we all need to learn to use, right? We need it. We need it to cut our fruits, to cut our vegetables, to cut whatever. We need the knife. But do we give the knife to a child who does not know how to use it? We don't, right? We teach the children how to use it carefully, and then we give it to them. We cannot tell them, okay, do not use a knife ever. The knife is sharp, do not use it ever. It does not work that way. How long will you keep the knife away? When they grow up, they have to learn to use it. So likewise, social media is not something which we can say, okay, no, we will not use it. We will not let our children use it. We will not let the youngsters use it. No, it does not work that way. But we have to tell them, kids, see, these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. This is what happens if you use it like this. These are the scary parts, which we need to tell them and how to handle it. If you have young children, then you can use parental control and blocking of porn sites and all that, checking on the child's phone. But after the child reaches a certain age, as a psychologist, I don't think it is right to check your child's phone. Okay. So, to all the parents out there, because I get this from parents who say, I will not give them a mobile phone or I will not give them access to internet. How long? See, when they're very young, you can do all this. But after a certain age, they need to have that, right? They need to be able to use and they need to know and decide for themselves okay, what is right and what is wrong. We are there to guide them. That is it. We have to show them this is a right, this is wrong, and then pray and hope that that they take the right path. That is all that as parents, as teachers, that's all that we can do. But we should be able to do that. We cannot say, I will not give my child a phone. I'll tell you a real life example. I know a family who does not give their daughter, a 15-year-old daughter, the phone, okay, because they feel that she misuses it. The moment she visits a relative or a friend, she takes their phone and she's on the Instagram. She has an account, she messages them. So the children are much, much smarter than us parents. That is what we need to understand. And we need to appreciate their smartness and we need to tell them that, yes, see, we know you are smart and maybe you're smarter than us, but we are the ones who are concerned about you. Once that is, we are able to make them understand that this is coming from a place of concern, then they also are willing to share with us. But dictatorship with children does not work. This is to all the parents and the teachers out there. Dictatorship does not work. If you think you are smart, your children are much, much smarter than you. Okay? So please take them in confidence, tell them the do's and don'ts, and respect them. And they will respect you back. You trust them, and they will trust you back. They should trust us enough that if they, God forbid, we don't want them to get into a mess, but if they get into a mess, they should be able to come back and tell us, you see, this has happened, this has gone wrong. They should have the confidence that, yes, I can go and tell my parent and they will take care of things. You want to scold them, you can scold them later, but first deal with it. Help them to deal with the problem. You can always scold them later, you can have punishments and all that. Okay? And even a punishment, it should not be very harsh. It should be depending on their age and understanding. Okay, now moving forward, we're talking about social media addiction. Everyone keeps talking about addiction. Okay, now an addiction it's a behavioral issue, and we can only say that there is an addiction to social media if there is over concern, there's an uncontrollable urge, they're spending too much of time, and it impairs other important life areas. Okay, so unless they maybe a child spends 2 hours, we cannot just look at the time and say okay, she's spending 2 hours or he's spending 3 hours, it's an addiction. No, addiction is only, we use that, it's a very, I mean, this word is quite harsh, so we only use this word when it is impairing important life areas. Which are the important life areas? Eating, sleeping, health issues. Okay. So now, how do we see this characteristics of social media addiction? How do you know that someone that you know, whether it's your child or a brother or a sister or a nephew or whoever that you know, has an addiction? One is excessive use of social media. And now social media need not only be through the phone, it can also be through the laptop, right? It can be through any device. Increasing reliance on social media as a way to feel good. That's it. They have to see how many likes they get. The moment they post, depending on the likes, suppose they have someone who doesn't like it and or they don't get so many likes, then they feel down. And an inability to stop or curb this behavior. These are some of the manifestations that we see in an addict. Okay, earlier whenever we spoke of addiction, earlier we used to think of substance use, cigarette smoking or drugs. That was what addiction was. But today, in today's world, addiction is to social media. It is to gaming or seeing how many likes you have or posting so many pictures or taking selfies. See, there is nothing wrong in taking selfies or posting things or liking something or putting up some videos or images and having others like it, sharing your things. There is nothing wrong with it. But depending on that completely, your entire self-esteem, and it depends on how many likes you get. And who are these people who are liking? I'm sure they're not even your real friends, right? So please understand, real friends are not your self-esteem should not depend on these people liking you. And sometimes it's, I liked your post, so you have to like my post back. That's how it works. Acha, tell me, how many times do you check your phone? Can I have some responses? Yeah,
I
Yusuf?
think like the worst thing that we all do that I've seen like is very common is the first thing we do when we wake up is look at our phone. Like the
Yeah,
day starts with looking at the phone and the day starts like stops with you looking at the phone.
the phone,
Like it
yes.
starts and ends with that. So and then during the day, every time you get a notification or even if you don't get a notification, the habit to just constantly take your phone from your table and look at it is like a habit I feel I see in almost everyone these days.
Exactly. Too many to count, according to Noor. Someone says 100 times. Someone is saying many, many times, very often. Yes. So that is what addiction looks like, that you can't do away with it. And the first thing that you want to get up in the morning is check your phone. The last thing that you do is check your phone. This is what addiction looks like. I'm sure the messages will remain there. Nothing has happened, in the overnight or whatever. And if you're not able to check your phone, if your phone is not charged, that impatience, the nervousness, all that, that is what it looks like. Anxiety when the phone is not charged, when the phone is taken away, or your laptop is not working, or the internet is not working. Yeah, but today you all have mobile data. So if your internet doesn't work, you just click on to that. Self esteem issues. Self esteem depending on what others think about you, what others say or like about your images, what they do, how many likes you get, how many you don't get. So if all these are dependent, then this is what addiction looks like. Okay. Someone is telling me that, yeah, in the chat, cannot live without phone. Have you tried? Have you tried? I'm sure you can, and you will live very well without it. Infinite amount of times, according to Roshni. Okay. All of us can live without phone. We just think that we cannot live without this and we cannot live without that, but no, actually we can. And we can live very well without it. I'm not asking you all to do it, but if there is a need, it can happen. Okay, because now everything is there in the phone, from payment to your entertainment to almost everything, right? It's not just for messaging. All your things are in the phone. Now I see people when they go out, they don't carry a purse or anything. They just carry a phone and they say it's all here. I want to buy something, I can buy through this. Everything is there in that. Yes, but it is not everything. It cannot be everything. It cannot be our all and everything. We are much more than that. We human beings are much more than that. So what causes social media addiction? Yes, can I have some responses to this? What do you think this is what is letting you all say that I cannot live without the phone or I cannot live without social media? Someone has tried for 21 days and it didn't work, is it? Sometimes it is work. Okay. Lack of family bonding. Okay. The need to be appreciated. Yes, definitely. Low self esteem. Yeah. It is. It's just that we're not comfortable with ourselves and what we have, right? So this is what we are looking for through social media, that acceptance. And one thing is also stress, the stress of studies, the stress of work, stress of relationships. So this is an escape. Social media becomes an escape. Social anxiety, do not like to deal with people, do not like to talk to people. So through social media, they get the confidence to talk to others. The confidence that they don't have talking face to face. I suffer from the opposite. I'm more comfortable face to face than online. For me, this online thing, I know it's 1 year of doing it, still I'm not so comfortable with this. For me, face to face is what makes me comfortable. And all my colleagues are like, no, it's they're very, very comfortable online. They think we don't have to face anyone. We can just, it's much more easier.
I
Okay.
think trends are happening.
Yeah.
Ask the host to let them unmute.
Can you unmute, Mr. Azim? Can you unmute them so that I can
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you?
They have the freedom to unmute themselves.
Yes.
Arush,
Arush, is that you? Can you?
Yeah, you were saying something and then I think it went on mute.
It,
Okay.
Arush, are you there? Okay, I think he got disconnected. Okay. Once he
Hello.
comes, yeah.
Yeah, actually, these days everything is being online. Even the doctor consultation or all these things, even for these things are all online. So
Yes.
it's becoming very difficult
Mm,
in between these lockdowns.
yes.
Nowhere to go
Especially.
outside, nowhere to go outside, not going to playing,
Yes.
nothing is happening. So we are more or less again dependent ourselves on these laptops and or
Yes,
mobiles.
exactly. We used to tell the parents, younger children, do not give them laptops, do not give
Yes,
them phones to. And today, everything is on that. How do
yes.
we, they are the studies are on that. They're not able to, especially during the lockdown, the children cannot go out to play, and they have to keep them busy. So, Honor has raised her hand. Honor.
yeah,
So, Honor, would you like to speak?
people are saying fear of missing out, which is why they're addicted to social media.
Yeah, fear of missing out. So I have
Lockdown has worsened the addiction.
people are creating a different world around it. My kid became very introvert after too much of screen time. Looks like forgot to communicate face to face. Yes, I know. Such a sad. I'm just reading out from some of the this thing,
Chat,
a
easy to
chat,
connect
and
with anyone and everyone.
it's so sad and so true. You know, it's very, very this. And then youngsters have this illusion of popularity. They feel that, this social media is that world. This world of likes, this world of images, this is the real world. But I'm sorry, it is not. Okay?
Yeah, but actually now, Sheen, with a lot of these kids now sitting at home, I mean, everybody actually sitting at home and, they're becoming very antisocial, I feel.
Yes.
They're very comfortable with this kind of environment now.
Yes, they are.
So,
They are. And
yeah,
at the
so they don't
moment,
want to even sometimes they're so busy with their phones or the computer, they don't even want to talk, face to face or don't feel like talking to their friends. I have a lot of people coming up saying, the kids don't want to, they're very comfortable in their own,
in their own world that they
yeah,
have
in their
made.
own world, basically. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. And
Um,
it seems that in a family, from one room to another, they are messaging each other. I've heard that also. I've heard parents complaining that, my child does not come out of the room. I mean, there is no COVID, nothing, but they don't want to leave the confines of the room, more comfortable just sitting there and even chatting with the parents and all that in the next room, using the phone. So these are things which I think we should put an end to it, because they need to move around. They just cannot be on the laptop or on the phone. Yeah. So, what can we do to stop this social media addiction? Okay, it is not easy. Let me just tell you, it is not easy, especially in the current scenario when everything is under lockdown. when when you're stuck at home, you're not able to go out. Earlier we could tell them, go out, do this, do that, but now with all this happening around us, it is not easy. And the way the situation is, I think in the near future we don't see anyone coming out, right? This academic year also is going to be online, this whole academic year. So it's a very, very tough time for the parents, for the youngsters, for everyone. But I would like to give a few tips. One is structure. Structure in your life. Structure means timetable. Okay, when are you going to study? What are you going to do? When are you going to have your entertainment? We are not saying no to having fun or no to meeting your friends online, or nowadays they have something called share parties,
Zoom
Zoom
parties, watch
parties,
parties,
watch parties. People are watching movies together or watching serials together. That is the new form of entertainment.
house parties.
Okay, so we are not saying no to that, but there has to be a structure. Okay, when do you do your studies? When are you with your friends? And when are you with your family members? I think we need to insist that now, the parent has to insist that enough. You come out of it and you please help in the chores at home, or you come and speak to us. And managing the screen time becomes very, very important. And we also need to help them with effective coping mechanisms. The first thing when we tell them, don't do this, they're going to, what do I do next? Or what do I do then? If I'm not here, then what? That's the first question the youngster asks you. So you have to be ready with the answer. If not this, then this is what you can do. Can you learn a skill? Can you help us in the housework? Please help, let them do it. Let them help the family in cooking and cleaning or whatever. Let them do it. They will feel a part of it. And it's very, very important. And we have to and keep encouraging them to move away from social media. And how do we treat this? If God forbid, if a child or an youngster has a social media, how is this treated by a psychologist? Okay, so we use, mostly talk therapy is being used. Talk therapy is nothing, it is one-to-one counseling. The counselor will speak to the youngster or the child involved and give them tips on how to handle it. Second is family therapy. In family therapy, we bring in the entire family. Sometimes what happens when you speak to an youngster or a child, the child will tell you, you know what, my father is on the phone all day, my mother is on the phone all day, and why are you saying that I cannot be on the phone? So we need to bring in the children learn from us. Okay. So sometimes we need to bring in the whole family, and everyone has to say, okay, this is enough. This is the time that I'm going to spend on my phone, and this is the time that I'm going to spend with the family together. And very rarely is other treatments. The other treatments we are talking about now, if someone is suffering from anxiety, not simple anxiety, severe anxiety, to the extent that it is an issue. They have panic attacks, or they have generalized anxiety disorder, or they have depression, or these are psychiatric issues. Okay, sometimes the manifestation of these depression or generalized anxiety disorder can be that they use the phone or the social media as a distraction. They do not come and talk to the family members. They do not have interest in doing anything else. They prefer to be with their phones in their room alone. They don't want to talk to anyone. Okay, so now in these cases, these are severe cases. This usually does not happen, but let me talk about, anyway, we are talking about it. So in these cases, medicines will be used. You have to take the help of a psychiatrist, but these are severe issues. Usually, talk therapy and family therapy works very well. Okay. Now, to conclude this, I would like to say that it's very important to have a structure and to monitor the phone usage. Now, when the child is very young, it's very easy to monitor their phone usage. Now, an youngster, someone in their teens, someone who's above 15, 16, and all that, it becomes a little difficult to monitor their phone usage, because they can tell you that, no, we are doing our academics, or we are having a phone call to discuss our assignments, and it can be true also. So that becomes a little dicey. So we have to teach the children, the youngsters, to how to balance the time which they spend online with household chores, with the academics, and also spending time with family and friends. Okay, and there is a huge difference between social media use and social media abuse. We are not telling them not to use social media. We are also in social media. We and that is what it is. Today's world is all about using social media to one's advantage, but abusing it so that your health does not fail. So that is very, very important. So I would like to thank you all, and I want to know any questions if anyone has.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Indu here. I have a question.
Tell me, Indu.
Yeah, one of my child who is in her early teens
Okay.
has been treated for ADHD. She has a history of treating for ADHD, and now, as you said, she is into that phone addiction.
Okay.
So actually, the family and all of us as a team are finding it very difficult.
To deal with
So
it.
yes, yes. So how can we? Does the child needs to go for de-addiction, or like how we
Yeah.
can help
See,
the
in
child?
ADHD, what happens is every few months they get addicted to one thing, right? I'm sure before the phone it must have been something else. These ADHD children who have ADHD youngsters, they have these fixations. They keep going through various fixations, okay, and it's in very extreme levels. The fixation gets.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find out, okay, what interests them in real life, and use other means to take them away from the phone. Okay, I'm sure
Okay.
there must be some other interest that the child has got,
Okay.
and use a
Okay.
reinforcer and a behavior modification program. You stay away from the phone for so long, and you get reinforced with this. So you
Mm-hmm.
can try that and see. No?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Come. Youngsters, would you like to chip in?
As a parent, I have something like we can try to involve them in extracurricular activities. And for
Yes,
that, we parents need to start first. Like we
very
need
true.
to start drawing, we need to
Yes,
start reading, we need to start dancing or singing so that they
yes.
will see that, oh, my parent is dancing or singing.
Ah, yeah. Well,
Just
ultimately, they learn
asking,
from us. Yes, very
yeah,
true.
because
Very true.
asking them go and read,
Ah,
it doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. Especially nowadays, no.
Yeah,
Maybe
nowadays,
yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't. Yes,
it was there in our times. Our
yes.
parents said that go and
Huh.
do this. We used
And
to
we
do
did
that,
it. Yes.
but nowadays it doesn't
No,
work like that. So this is
it
my,
really doesn't.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, very, very useful input. Very true. Thank you so much.
Uh, can I say some points?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think some few tricks can help these people to reduce the abuse, like
Okay.
turn off the notification.
Turn on the notification. Yes, very good.
Don't sleep
Mm,
or don't keep the phone near your heads near the bedside
okay.
during sleeping or in
Uh,
the morning. Be away from your bedside,
uh,
and
yes.
try to cultivate new habits, some new hobbies
Okay.
that they should be engaged. Some new other new hobbies like reading, like writing a story, or make them to uh, cultivate some hobbies that they are engaged when they want to see the uh, cell
Spend
phone
time.
or social media.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
thank
is
you so
few
much.
tips.
Yes, yeah, yeah, very, very useful tips. Thank you so much. There is something in the chat. Let me just read that.
Yeah,
Someone is saying that I get to hear from many kids these days that they don't want to get back to school once school reopens. Yes, this is the scariest part of all this. See, one whole year the children were away from school, and now again this year they're going to be away. So yes, most of the children, it is not just one child, we are hearing this, and it is going to be a huge challenge. Okay, next year when the schools open, how do they go and handle the school? This is going to be a huge challenge for everyone. And Another thing is, someone is saying, my son is so addicted that he needs any of the screen time every time. If not, he gets angry. He throws his anger on everyone and does not listen to me. No good relationship. Does he need any consultation? But he's not ready for that also. That is really sad. Um, I think he really needs consultation, because the tantrums and all that, those are signs of anxiety and depression. So if you think that your child is showing signs of anxiety or depression, then you must take help. It is important, that we don't waste time and we take help. Yeah, anyone else would like to share?
May I just share one point, Noshin?
Yes.
See, we all want our children to stay away from social media,
Yes.
but we as parents are very poor role models. When our children are seeing us constantly sending messages, using our phones, we are constantly on WhatsApp, we are on Facebook, or we are stuck in front of the television or our laptops, and then we tell them not to do it. It's double standards. So I think
Exactly.
parents
Yes.
first need to cut down on their own social networking time. They need to have specific times for themselves and set rules that as a family you'll have 1 hour of time, and even I'll have 1 hour of time. So
Yes.
when it's time for dinner or lunch, please don't come with your phones to the dining table. Keep that away.
Yes.
This is family time. So I think we need to first
Very
change
true. Very true.
ourselves.
Yes. We need to. Thank you so much for that. Yes, because they follow us. They follow the parents. They follow the teachers. So we need to set a proper example for them. An youngster named Nizana has said something in the chat. Let me read this out. She says, I started art classes and social media really helped me reach out. Yes, it's a huge help for small businesses. I used to use social media a lot and it has come to my advantage. Good for you, Nizana. Good for you. Yes, it does come to advantage. I'm not saying it is not advantageous. It is, but it is, we just need to know how to use it. That is the most important thing. I'm not saying it is a very, very bad thing and it's only bad. No, it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. It's important that we know how we use it. Um, so, if there are no more questions, shall we end this
Yeah,
session?
I just have one suggestion which
Yeah.
worked out kind of thing. So basically, when we see that the kids are extreme on usage of social media or phone time, I
Yeah.
think between the parents, if people can take sides rather than both of them being wild at the child, what we should do is one of them can be strict, the other could be little liberal, and
Okay.
kind of get the side of
Balance
the
it
child
out.
to balance it out and kind of make sure that there is some kind. Otherwise, the kid usually feels that the entire family is against the
No,
child
we
and
don't
kind
want them to feel that. That is very important. At no point should we make them feel that that we are against them, because that doesn't work. It really does, especially in today's world. It does not work. Yes.
I
Yeah.
had something to say.
Tell me.
Um, I think what ends up happening, which also causes social media addiction, is when parents ask children to get off social media, they also tell them to study. And what I've seen is children perceive social media as the opposite to studies. So the
Okay.
moment they get tired of studying, they turn to social media. It's better to get them off social media and get them onto more productive things like playing outside
Yes.
and reading books, rather than just saying, "Oh, when you're
Academics.
free." Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yes, valid point. Very valid point. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope all the parents who are listening will take in. Yeah. Yeah, Nidzana, you'd like to say something? Yeah, Nidzana, I'm waiting. Okay, Nidzana has put it on chat, is it? Nidzana says, my dad doesn't stay with me. If I had limited amount of time on my phone, I might not be able to communicate with him at the same time that he's online because he's working and maybe busy. Okay. And Nuha says, hi everyone. As much as I would hate to say this, I'm addicted to the internet. Wow, that takes courage to say. I have a constant urge to check Instagram every 10 minutes or so. And then, this when I sit with my phone and endlessly scroll through my Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube as the algorithm sneakily picks the next video I'd be interested to watch. My screen time is an average of 3 to 4 hours. This is an youngster, okay, who's sharing with us. And without my phone, I doubt I'll be able to do just about anything. On the bright side, YouTube has taught me skills. It has helped with school too. Pinterest has a lot of inspirational content to offer, and Instagram enables me to be in touch with my friends, especially during these crucial times. Yes, we know that it helps, but 3 hours, 4 hours spending on it, that is a little too much, Nuha. I wish you would come down. But thanks for sharing. See, we would like to hear from the youngsters. It's very important that we hear from the youngsters and we understand them. And we need to tell the youngsters that we are on their side and we are there with them. Okay. If we are not against social media. That should be made very clear. And as one of the earlier participants said, it should not be either social media or studies. Okay. Then children will run to social media. Life without social media also should be interesting. We should keep it interesting so that they can choose. Social media should not be the only option left for them. That is where it becomes scary. When we do not know what they are doing, with whom they are talking, what is happening, that is the scary part. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And looking forward to many more such interactive sessions with you all. You have been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Dr. Naushin. It was a wonderful session and informative session. I think it's the need of the hour, rather, the times what we are going through. I think I'm sure a lot of youngsters as well as parents would have taken some good inputs to kind of practice that in their life. So I can talk about few experiences myself, from my childhood. I used to remember phone numbers by heart in terms of my relatives and the known people. Today, I don't remember anything beyond one number. So even kind of it becomes so difficult that we are so
Yes.
dependent or rather handicapped that we have to depend on the cell phone as much to kind of remember the numbers or even to contact few people. And that way again, extending it further to keep in touch with relatives or friends in terms of what's happening or just to check. I think that also becomes very important to be kind of thing. But the name social has that is attached to the media, but then I think it is beyond the social, and that is getting destructive. So yeah, I think I go back to the same point in terms of we need to use social media like a knife in terms of knowing what is the actual advantage of it. And then you also know that if you overexert yourself and you don't use it properly, you can even harm yourself. So with that note, I thank you all for the time, and I hope you enjoyed it. This session will also be available in our YouTube channel, Golden Breeze Foundation, as well as the United Medical Mission websites, as well as the YouTube channel. This content will be available. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us on WhatsApp or on email. The flyers which you received have the contact details, and we'll be more than happy to pass on the questions to Dr. Naushin and get her inputs. Okay, thank you all once again, and have a great evening ahead.